NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Everyone likes a good meal, especially if it is prepared with fresh fish, such as those from the fresh waters of Ekpe. This is Ekpe, a town located on longitude 4 east and latitude 6.31 north, and approximately about 89 kilometers from Lagos. Ekpe presents a picturesque setting with its location on a slightly elevated land ranging between 30 to 60 meters above sea level. Ekpe is a riverine town with its waters bounded by thick mangrove swamp. Therefore, the occupations of the people traditionally include fishing, farming, carving, weaving, canoe building, fishnet, and fish trap making. However, like any other riverine community in Nigeria, fishing and fishing activities remain at top of the pack. It has assumed a prime importance and an industry that has become a symbol of civic pride to the people of Ekpe. It is therefore no exaggeration to assert that Ekpe remains the fish empire of Lagos State. The uniqueness of the people to perpetuate their traditional way of life is reflected through their organized approach in matters of fishing. Most times, it is family business, integrating entire members. Irrespective of scale, whether from a traditional subsistent level, using paddled canoes, to bigger boats using outboard engines, or to a large-scale dragnet system, the fishers are now at the mercy of the fishermen. Through cooperatives and other organized associations,
NTA International News.
Nigerians in the United Kingdom express readiness to be part of the nation's development. A serving Supreme Court justice arraigned before the Federal High Court in Abuja on 16 count charge. Information Minister advises public relations practitioners to rise to contemporary practices to be relevant in their profession. Hello there, this is the news on NTA International. I am Shegun Lawole. President Muhammadu Buhari is to attend the 4th African Arab Summit in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea on Wednesday, November 23. The summit, which will be attended by heads of state and government from Gulf and African countries, is expected to endorse the Malabo Declaration and Action Plan for 2017 and 2019 to promote trade and economic ties. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says the two-year plan seeks to implement priority projects in trade, investment, transportation, communication, and energy in Africa. While in Malabo, President Buhari is also expected to hold discussions with Arab leaders aimed at reviewing agreements to strengthen partnerships that bolster agriculture and infrastructure development in Nigeria through long-term concessionary loans and technological skills transfer. President Buhari will also explore the opportunity of the summit to seek support for the ongoing fight against Boko Haram and the humanitarian situation in the Northeast. The summit is jointly organized by the African Union Commission and the League of Arab States. Nigerians in the United Kingdom have expressed readiness to contribute their knowledge and skills to national development. The diasporans said this during a meeting with members of the Senate Committee on Diaspora and Non-Governmental Organization at the Nigerian High Commission, London. Belkisu Abdurazak Oduoye reports.
The diasporans who expressed delight at the interface shared their concerns over the difficulties in doing business in Nigeria, inadequate support and empowerment of persons living with disabilities, the unstable forex markets, which affects remittances back home, diaspora's voting rights in future elections, and the need to fast-track the establishment of the Diaspora Commission. They also stressed that Nigeria has no business being in a recession with the skills and talents available to tap from in the diasporan community.
Knowledge which is transferred, our universities can be transformed so that we become the education hub of the whole of Africa.
So talk about the diaspora voting, where they are talking about how practical is it going to be.
A lot of them are actually willing to go back home. And I can tell you, they're ready to actually invest without taking money from the government.
Chairperson of the Senate Committee on Diaspora and Non-Governmental Organizations, Senator Rose Oko, says the meeting is not just a talk shop, but aimed at developing a functional legislative framework.
We do believe that have enormous resources, potentials, not only in terms of remittances, but in terms of the skills that they have even fine-tuned being out here, especially in the academia, in trade and investment, in the medical field. The
committee is next expected to meet with Nigerian medical practitioners who make up a huge percentage of the NHS workforce in the UK. In London, Belkisu Abdurazak Udoyi, NTA News.
In an effort to change some misconceptions about the National Assembly and to emphasize its important role in the growth of democracy in Nigeria, a forum organized by the Nigerian Civil Society Desk has held. This is with a view to highlighting how national development depends largely on the effectiveness of the legislature.
The emphasis should be on the legislature, because that's where the power of the people rely. So on that note, we took time to look at the financial strength of the legislature. So we look at the budget situation and we say maybe we should lend our voices to ask for increment in their budgetary allocations.
It is important Nigerians know that National Assembly is not all about the Senate and the reps. There are so many institutions that function under this National Assembly. Now we are talking about the funding of the National. You don't forget that National Assembly has a body half staff. National Assembly have, the clerk is there. The clerk is the arm that takes care of the administrative body of the National Assembly.
Public relations practitioners have been advised to brace it to contemporary practices if they must remain relevant in the profession. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed said this while addressing the 4th Commonwealth Public Relations Congress in Lagos. Anthony Forsen reports.
The 4th Commonwealth Public Relations Congress, under the auspices of the Management School of London and the Business Education Examination Council, has as its theme Strategic Management of Reputation, Risk in an Interdependent World. It is on this platform that Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed hinged his position to call for professionalism.
You can't expect me to represent you fully when decisions will be made behind me. I must be able to contribute a bit from the perspective of the person who's going to manage your image.
The minister said the profession has a global standard, hence the need to cut the practice in line with the peculiarity of the operational base.
Because we strive to project a positive image for the government and keep the citizens informed of government activities. We are constantly being forced to devise innovative ways to ensure a better two-way communication between the government and the people.
President of Business Education Examination Council, Mike Okereke, cited Nigeria as a case study where practitioners, he said, should be in the vanguard of the change campaign.
Our job is a top management function, and our role is to advise the government, the corporate bodies, on the strategic impact which their policies are going to have in the public.
Taking turns to speak, guests at the conference were unanimous in their submissions that image making should go beyond executive practice. In Lagos, Anthony Forsen, NTA News.
In another the Federal Road Safety Corps and the Ministry of Communications are collaborating on ICT and innovation towards enhancing safety on Nigerian roads. This was the focus of the meeting between the FRC Corps Marshal, Boboye Oyeyemi, and Minister of Communications, Abdurrahim Adebayo Shitu, at the Corps Headquarters in Abuja. Abdulmalik Adio completes the report.
With 12 million vehicles on Nigerian roads, the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety, Boboye Oyeyemi, says providing the right environment for the harnessing of information and communication technologies to enhance safety on roads is imperative. He says the Corps is promoting the use of closed-circuit television to monitor the highways to help enhance its operations in the country.
And we believe the time is right for ICT, as per the resolution, the communique at the last council meeting, for full implementation so that the country can move forward.
The Minister of Communication, Abdurrahim Adebayo Shitu, says road safety is everyone's business and is in line with the focus of Buhari administration to ensure that all agencies in the country operate in accordance with global standard. The minister promised to support the Corps to make Nigerian roads safe.
I want to assure you that any new ideas that you have to transform this agency to make it achieve the best, you can always count on me. I will do my best, including promoting memos to the Federal Executive Council on whatever initiative that you think.
The collaboration between the Federal Road Safety and the Ministry of Communication is part of continuing effort by the Federal Road Safety Corps to ensure efficient use of information and communication technologies for enhanced road safety management. In Abuja, Abdulmalik Adio, NTA News.
Now turning to judiciary, Nigeria's fight against corruption took a historic turn Monday morning, when for the first time in known records, a serving justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Sylvester Uguta, was arraigned before the Federal High Court in Abuja. Daily Atube reports on the arraignment and the subsequent bail application before Justice John Tsoho.
Justice Sylvester Uguta was arraigned on the 16 counts of corruption, illegal possession of funds ranging from 250 million naira and various other amounts of money. He pleaded not guilty to all the charges. Moving an application for bail of the accused, his counsel Kanu Agabi pleaded with the court to grant him bail on self-recognition. Agabi said the accused, who has been on administrative bail since his first arrest in October, will not join bail if granted. Relying on Section 162 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, counsel to the accused said the offences levied against him are bailable offences and urged the court to grant the application. Opposing the bail application, the prosecution counsel, Charles Adeogun Phillips, alleged that by available reports, the accused is a man of doubtful character who owns 4 passports, hence he could jump bail. He pleaded with the court not to grant him bail as he could interfere with investigation and other material evidence. The presiding judge, Justice John Toso, said there is nothing before the court to substantiate the allegation that the accused could jump bail since he has been under serious security watch. Justice Toso thereby granted Justice Uguta bail on self-recognition.
It gives the defendant an opportunity to explain himself.
Well, we opposed the bill because we thought that there was a very high likelihood that witnesses and the evidence in the case will be interfered.
The case had been adjourned to December 7 when trial will commence. In Abuja, Daily Atumbi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onoge, has called on presiding officers of lower courts in Nigeria not to betray the trust of the society in the nation's judicial system. He made this call at the opening of the 2016 All Nigerian Judges Conference for Lower Court. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewu reports.
Lower courts in the Nigerian judicial system are made up of magistrate courts, area courts, customary and Sharia courts. Majority of cases are handled by these courts and most times serve as courts of first instance. Because they have the closer link with the citizens, Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogen, implored them to strengthen the people's confidence in the nation's judicial system through upright judgments.
The society therefore looks up to you to dispense justice according to law and without fear of favor, affection, or ill will.
The annual conference is a platform to train and retrain them in the functions of their duties.
It is important to state that for the lower courts to serve as veritable instruments for justice and peace in a democratic society, they must continually demonstrate deep foresight for productivity, exceptional capacity, and remarkable courage.
Statistics have it that lower courts in Nigeria handle close to 75% of cases that come for litigation. That is why in judicial circles it is important to pay attention to the training and conduct of this corps of judicial officers. From the National Judicial Institute, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
The need to mobilize public and private financing has been stressed to assist Africa to transit into a prosperous continent with inclusive and sustainable growth through industrialization. This was the submission of participants at the Policy Roundtable of the 2016 Industrialization Day. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports.
Research shows that over the last 2 decades, Africa's combined gross domestic product (GDP) grew by an average of 4.7% per year, making the continent one of the world's fastest growing economy. However, low commodity prices, tighter financing, and droughts are some of the bans of the growth process. So, returning the continent back to the path of greatness dominates discussions as Nigeria hosts this year's Africa Industrialization Day.
Policy direction is to prioritize agriculture, solid minerals, and manufacturing.
Unconditional support of African governments will be of utmost importance to realize our common goal of putting the continent at the forefront of the world's economic transformation.
Accelerating industrialization and expanding productive capacity and value addition, others say, are critical to sustaining Africa's economic growth.
We don't only work on very big and gigantic industries. We can start from somewhere, and that's why it is important to strengthen the small and medium-scale enterprise, which all Nigerians can key into.
There cannot be industrialization without electricity, and not electricity, uninterrupted, cheaper electricity. For now, the energy cost is so high for our industry, so it doesn't make us to be competitive.
Nigerian customs have to be fully equipped to be able to do the surveillance and control the illegal routes of this smuggling.
The sub-theme for this year's celebration is Back to Basics, revival of basic industries and creation of sustainable employment. In Abuja, Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammadu Sa'ad Abubakar III, says efforts are underway to end the incessant crisis between the farmers and herdsmen. The Sultan would address the farmers in Isa local government area of Sokoto State, described the lingering crisis as a security threat to national food production. Musa Babaliu reports.
Apart from the incessant clashes between farmers and herdsmen, attacked by armed bandits and rustlers has become a major security concern in the country. Security experts stress the need for involvement of traditional rulers in addressing the security challenges. The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammadu Sa'ad Abubakar, said traditional institutions are collaborating with government at all levels towards ending the crisis.
On our part, we'll continue doing what we have been doing, tackling the incessant crisis between farmers and herdsmen. It's a very worrying situation for all of us, and we're looking at how we can resolve it, and inshallah, we will resolve that problem, and soonest.
Sultan therefore challenged state governors to be transparent and sincere in the development of agriculture.
It was on this premise that the present administration assessed and evaluated the problems faced by the farmers in the state with a view to providing solutions to the lingering problems militating against agricultural development.
Representative of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture told the farmers that the Bank of Agriculture is being repositioned to be able to meet the demands of rural farmers. Sokoto state government is currently taking census of wheat and rice farmers in the state with a view to supporting them. From Isa local government area of Sokoto state, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Stay tuned for more stories after the break.
This is to inform all prospective corps members that the NYSC 2016 Batch B orientation course will commence on Thursday, 24th November in all NYSC orientation camps nationwide. Commencement of registration, 24th November. Cut-off date for registration, 12 midnight, 25th November. Swearing-in ceremony, Monday, 28th November. Official closing ceremony, Wednesday, 14th December. Corps members deployed to Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe states are expected to report to the camp addresses as indicated on their call-up letters. All prospective corps members must be registered on presentation of their call-up letters as well as original copy of statement of result. Check the following newspapers for details: Daily Trust, 19th, Punch, 20th, Vanguard, 21st, Blueprint, and Daily Sun, 23rd November 2016. Management Announcer.
National News. Africa as it is.
Welcome back. Nigerians have been advised to embrace businesses and trades that will enable them contribute economically to the growth of a nation. This was the thrust of discussions at a workshop organized by Ideas Africa, tagged Making of Smart Women Entrepreneurs. Basi Taipan was there.
The Bureau of Statistics puts the unemployment rate in Nigeria at 13.3%. This, the president of Ideas Africa says, is the reason for empowering and mentoring Nigerian women and girls to become productive and dependable for themselves and the nation.
Is the strategic empowerment of the woman and girl, leveraged by ICTs through sustainable and pragmatic economic solutions.
Women constitute over half of the population. They are human beings with potential, and that potential has to be developed.
Participants at the seminar noted that for women to be successfully empowered, the women should see themselves as strategic assets that have a lot to offer.
And getting our sustainable development goals achieved, then the women must play a veritable role in getting these things done.
Ideas Africa is a non-governmental organization which focuses on adaptation of information and communications technologies for sustainable socioeconomic growth and development in Africa. In Abuja, Basi Taipang, NTA News.
And now for reports from the financial sector, here is Olainka Uju.
Welcome to Business News. Against the backdrop of the concerns in some quarters that there may be outbreak of famine in Nigeria next year, Governor of Kebbi State, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, also Chairman Presidential Task Force on Rice and Wheat Production, has urged the federal government to immediately stop the import of food items to neighboring countries, especially through the land border. The governor encouraging federal government to come up with emergency plan to purchase excess grains from farmers to boost grain reservoir in all parts of the country, noted that exportation of grains from Nigeria portends great danger to Nigeria's future food security.
There is need for more involvement of federal government, state governments, the Central Bank of Nigeria, so that we can provide more financing.
The National Bureau of Statistics said on Monday that Nigeria's recession deepened in the third quarter and oil production fell as a dollar shortage kept Africa's biggest economy in a strange hold. Gross domestic product contracted by 2.24%. Before we go, a check on closing figures on the floor of the stock market. And that's it on the business segment of the news. I am Olainka Ojo.
And now to some foreign news. The need to reduce the barest minimum, the number of Nigerian drug traffickers on death row and life imprisonment in China and its neighboring countries prompted the Nigerian community in Guangzhou to organize an awareness campaign on the dangers of crime and drug trafficking in China. Julieta Aino has more on this story.
Taking a united stand to stay on the right side of Chinese laws and regulations, this gathering aims to address the #1 problem of Nigerians in Chinese prisons, the issue of drug trafficking.
More than 80%
in prison is our people who are in capital offense, some people in life imprisonment because of these drugs. Stop people from taking these drugs from the shores of Nigeria. This is important. The NDLA, they have a lot of work to do.
Organized by the leadership of the Association of Nigerian Community in China, ANCC, the Say No to Drugs and Crime campaign preached the negative effects, dangers and repercussions of drug trafficking and crime by Nigerians in China. Supported by the authority of the Guangzhou Chamber of Commerce and other Guangdong government commercial offices, they called for good behavior from their Nigerian partners to promote better relations between both countries. The Say No to Drugs and Crime campaign gave opportunity to the Nigerian community heads and religious leaders to address all the negative issues contributing to the bad image of Nigerians in China and need for attitudinal change. From Guangzhou, China, Julieta Aino, NTA News.
And for more stories trending around the globe, let's join Uche Nwizu.
Japanese troops with a mandate to use force have arrived South Sudan to join the UN peacekeeping mission. Reports say this is the first time since the end of World War II that Japan has given its peacekeepers the power to use force to protect civilians, UN staff and themselves. The troops will also engage in engineering and construction work in the capital, Juba. From Libya comes a report that at least 3 children were killed and 20 people wounded by a car bomb in the city of Benghazi. In India, the death toll from the train crash in northern Uttar Pradesh state on Sunday has risen to over 140 and is expected to rise further. Rescuers are still combing the wreckage, and reports say many of the injured are in critical conditions. And from Germany, Chancellor Angela Merkel has announced she would run for a 4th term in office. The center-right conservative declared her intention at a meeting with members of the Christian Democratic Union Party in Berlin, where she confessed she expects a tough campaign, but would do all within her powers to fight for the country's values and way of life. Germany's election is due for next year, after 4 years of coalition with the Social Democrats. Uche Nwizu, NTA News.
And our sports. Team Civil Defense reaches semi-finals of the 2016 NCC Tennis League as Andy Murray hopes to sustain world #1 ranking in 2017. Kenema Budike reports.
Team Civil Defense emerged top